Hey, it's Eric from At A Productions, and it is time to look at another weird-ass DOS game. Today we're going to be taking a look at Robbo for DOS, and this is a factory-sealed $5 closeout. So you know this is going to be a weird-ass DOS game. Let's take a look at it. Alright, so here's Robbo, or Robbo, I don't know how that's pronounced. It's kind of interesting with two B's there. For the PC, and when I say PC, not modern PC, this is for DOS. Check out these system requirements here. It's IBM/Tandy compatible, 3.5-inch floppy disk, MS-DOS 3.3 or higher, and you need a 286 or faster with 640K of RAM and VGA graphics. You need a pretty hardcore system to play this thing. Anyways, according to the back of it, it looks like this is some sort of maze game. I have no familiarity with this game. I've never played it. I got this at Goodwill because it was cheap. It was $3 and it was sealed. And I have bought some of these kind of games before. This is a shareware game that was packaged and released for retail. And you can see it says closeout $5. A lot of times these were $5 to $10, and they sold them at like Kmart and stuff like that. And I used to buy these. I got Jazz Jackrabbit. Now this says it Monkey Business, but then if you notice here, it says the B&N companies. So this is how I got Epic Pinball, one of the tables for that. When I was a kid, I got Jazz Jackrabbit, one of these releases, like same size box, but it was B&N. I don't remember this Monkey Business thing, but apparently that's a spin-off from B&N. But like I said before, I've never played this game that contains outstanding graphics and sound and challenging fun for the whole family. No graphic violence? That's not a selling point. I would have saw that as a kid and been like, no. But this should be interesting. Like I said, this was, I think, gonna just well worth the few dollars I paid at Goodwill. So let's open this thing up, because it's just been dying to be opened up since 1994, I think, was the year I saw on the back of the box. Let's get this plastic off of here. And something else, this is actually a game from, it says here, Epic, I don't know if you can see that, but Epic Mega Games. So this is the same company that did Jazz Jackrabbit and a lot of other cool shareware games and retail games. So I kind of have high hopes for this game. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Alright, open it up. And usually not a lot came with these. We've got our floppy, and look at that. The label has not aged well, even though this is sealed. Sometimes it's like an Atari label. A lot of those old Atari games labels did this too. They kind of got this funk that happened to them. But there's the floppy disk. Now a lot of times these B&N releases came with like a catalog. Yep, there it is. B&N's what is a warranty card? Read me first. Free software? Sweet. Oh, this is a lot chintzier than the catalogs that I'm used to seeing in these. Usually, this is like really thin paper, not glossy at all. I'm used to they usually have like a really nice like multi-page glossy catalog in there. If you watched my video on the Cyber Girl pinball table, you see what I mean. There's a much nicer catalog. But I have this game though too, Billy the Kid Returns. I have this sealed as well. I bought it at the same time as this game, so we'll take a look at that in another video. But I wonder if I fill this out and send it in, if I'll get some free software. I doubt it. But there's that. And then it looked like there was something else in here. Is this a warranty card? What's in here? You have this there we go. This frame that keeps everything, that holds the floppy disk and keeps it all stable. And then what else came in here? Installation. Now here's the installation instructions. Usually made these pretty simple, but wow, this is much chintzier than what I'm used to coming with. Apparently Monkey Business was even more bottom of the barrel than the B&N software releases. This was like, I guess, their bargain, even more bargain than B&N. This is pretty crappy. That's just like a piece of laser printer printed out. And then we've got a what is this? Oh my gosh, a subscription card for PC Novice Magazine and PC Today. I remember seeing these at the newsstand when I was a kid. Holy cow. This is hilarious. See, this is why I love opening these old school PC games, because even the really cheap ones had some interesting stuff to look at. When you open up the big box ones, there was all kinds of cool stuff. There was big old thick manuals and catalogs and all kinds of neat stuff. But even in these cheap ones, there's crazy crap like this to look at. I love opening up these old games when they're sealed. But let's go ahead and install this game wherever I put the floppy disk. There it is. We'll pop this in and we'll take a look and see if the Adventures of Robbo or Robbo is worth playing. So I'll be playing Robbo on my PC here, and this is a Windows 10 PC, but I do have DOSBox installed, and I've got a USB 3.5-inch floppy drive. So let's go ahead and plug the floppy disk in. That's so satisfying putting floppy disks in. I love that sound. And let's full screen DOSBox here, and we'll switch over to the floppy drive, and the instruction says to just type go to run the install. And I love running through the install on these old B&N releases. It's always fun. I also love the sounds of a floppy drive. I know you can play a lot of these games through Steam or GOG, good old games, but there's something to be said for being able to install the games off the original floppy and run through the old install programs. Do we want to install Robbo Special Edition? Yes, we do. And we want to install it to the C drive in the Robbo directory. Now, Robbo was actually originally developed for the Atari XL/XE series of computers, and it was also ported to the Commodore 64, and then it was later ported over to DOS PCs. So this game has quite a history behind it. I believe it was originally a Polish game also. I know that it did really well there, and I think that's where it came from originally. Not a lot of information about this game. I love seeing that too. 1989 to 1993, PKware Inc. When was the last time you saw that? It's awesome. So it'll be interesting to see how well a game that was developed for Atari 8-bit computers translates over to DOS PCs. Do we want to read the instructions for Robbo Special Edition? Why not? Let's take a look just for a minute. I like this too, the old text instructions. Look at that, a 386 or faster PC. I think we're going to be okay. Common problems and solutions. I don't know if running OS 2 is a common problem anymore. Anyways, let's hop out of this. And so we have a little setup program here, and we've got it set to VGA and Sound Blaster. That's what we want. And then we just have to type Robbo to start the game.
Epic Mega Games and Xland present Robbo.
Registered version. Now this is some music. This, between the music and the Lisa Frank Trapper Keeper Folder 90 stuff going on here, this is pretty rad so far. Pretty happy with my $5 spent already just for this. And we can hit spacebar to start the game.
Entering system A. Collect all bolts.
And I hope you enjoyed that music, because that's pretty much all of the music this game has to offer. There is no in-game music. Sucks. So what this is it's a puzzle game, basically. You go around and try and collect all the bolts, avoid bad stuff, pick up items, for example, this battery here.
A battery.
There are sound effects. Every time you pick something up, it tells you what it is. But
a bolt.
You go around and collect bolts, and then once you do, you can exit the level. And you can do things like push these bombs around, and then the battery lets you shoot your gun. So to do that, you hold the space bar and then push the direction you want to shoot.
A key.
Now this is a very simple game, and I mean very simple. The only controls are just the 4 arrow keys. You kind of move one tile at a time as you press the arrow key, and you use the space bar to shoot your gun when you've got charges for it. And like I said, all you do is go around and collect all the bolts for the level, and then exit the level once you've done that. It does remind me a lot of games like Lolo, maybe Kickle Cubicle, Quirk, games where you're just either trying to get through a maze or, collect a certain things to unlock a pathway. It's a very simple puzzle game. So, if that kind of game is a game that you like, then this game may be for you. Now, I will say the lack of music sucks. The sound effects are kind of interesting in that they're all speech, and I imagine that takes a lot of space on the single 3.5-inch floppy disk that comes on, so there probably just wasn't room for music. But I'd rather just have music and have simple sound effects instead of digitized speech. Another game that comes to mind while playing this is Chip's Challenge, but I seem to have more fun playing that game as well. I just have a really hard time recommending this game unless you're really a diehard fan of these kinds of games. Earlier I mentioned that this was a very simple game, and it's so simple that it doesn't even have a save feature. It uses a password system instead, and to me that's kind of unacceptable on a PC game. Back when this game was new, that was the strength of PC games over console system, was that they all had save features. I definitely have mixed feelings about this game. I do feel like I got my few dollars worth out of it between the packaging and opening it and just that bitching intro that has awesome music, but then no music after that. And the gameplay is fun for a little bit, and maybe I'm just not giving the game enough chance, and I'm sure the puzzles get more and more complicated, but I just have a hard time getting into it. So, like I said, if you're a diehard fan of these kinds of games, I would recommend it for you, but if you're not, I would say give it a pass unless you're into collecting really weird-ass DOS games. If there's any weird-ass obscure DOS games you think I should check out, let me know what those are down in the comments below. I'm always on the lookout for weird and obscure games to play. That being said, I think I'm going to go find something else to play now. Thanks for watching. Hey, thanks for checking out this retro gaming review. If you got a few minutes, why don't you check out one of these other videos, and if you like what you saw, don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And as always, thanks for watching.